going on, everyone from LowKick MMA? I'm joined with UFC veteran Justin, the guitar hero, Jaynes. Justin, thank you so much for taking the time.
Absolutely, man. Appreciate you having me.
Always a pleasure getting you on. And just first off, so you had a neck injury at one point. How's the recovery been going?
Dude, it's been crazy, man. It's been a crazy 18 months. Yeah, I got injured. Back I squished one of my discs a while back before I fought Carl Deaton, and unfortunately, in training, I just found the straw that broke the camel's back. I did PT for 6 months post injury. Nothing got better. Did some injections, some steroid injections into my neck, try to leave some of the pressure. Didn't get better. Finally scheduled surgery. Had surgery in January, and I've been doing PT and recovering for that. And I just got back into training 3 weeks ago. The Guitar Hero is back, and he's ready to start slinging some fists soon.
Is there a target date or month that you want to get back in the cage?
I was looking at May 20th for Fusion Fight League right now. They're looking in Boise, Idaho. They're looking for an opponent for me. June, I was offered for WXC. July, I was offered for TWC in Florida. So right now, I'm just trying to book as many as I can. And I'm getting old, dude. I've had 3 surgeries in the last 3 years. I had hand surgery, then I had nose surgery, and then now I have neck surgery. Like my body's falling apart. I just need to bang out some fights as many as I can, and while I'm healthy now.
So your goal is to get you're fully back to training, no sort of setbacks from injury.
I'll tell you, I'm a little attentive at sometimes, going with bigger guys or really explosive guys because again, just I just don't have the confidence yet, man. I just had surgery, 4 months ago, so I mean I am in full swing. I am training as if I'm getting ready for a fight. I think I'm still a little hesitant in some areas, but as for training, man, I'm back in swing. I'm ready to go. I can't wait to start knocking people out again.
Is your goal still to get back to the UFC?
Yeah, man, it's the goal. It's I talked to my son last, or I talk to him all the time, but when we talked to him, before my surgery, after my surgery, he's 14 years old, he's going to high school, and I asked him what he would like to see me do, and he told me I had an offer from Bellator. I know Ray Sefo really well. I might be able to get a shot at the PFL, but I moved to Las Vegas to get to the UFC and retire in the UFC. So my goal as of right now is to knock out 3 to 5 guys in a row, and hopefully get that short notice call again.
Fair enough. And so we got to ask James Krause, the gambling stuff. It originally started with a fight between Derek Minner and Shailon Nerdembeka, where the line shifted a couple hours before the fight. Turns out Derek Minner had an injury. What is your opinion on, all the betting stuff around the UFC right now?
You know, I don't know Derek Minner very very well. We've talked a couple times on Instagram. He seemed like a really cool dude. I know I've heard nothing but great things of James Krause. Gina Mazzani, a very close friend of mine, trains down there. Tim Elliott, her boyfriend, no, her husband, excuse me, trains down there. A UFC superstar, and I've never heard them say anything bad about James Krause. I don't personally know him. It's a gray area, man. The gambling world is a gray area. Even when I placed that 20K bet on myself, like that wasn't straight through a casino. Like I had to have different books because I had to bet it on credit. So you can't go to a casino and be like, oh hey, can I get a 20K loan to place a bet? That doesn't not how it works. So I had to break it up between a whole bunch of people. So some people it's a gray area, man. And if you get caught dabbling in the wrong gray area, you're going to suffer the consequences.
So when you place that bet, did you have to like tell the UFC, okay, this is what I'm doing, or is it just like a thing where it's like, don't talk about it and we don't want to know about it?
I mean, no, I did nothing illegal at the time that I betting on yourself was legal. I looked it up. I talked to a lawyer because I obviously didn't want to have any repercussions of it. As long as I didn't bet on the outcome, you can bet on wins and losses. You can't bet on how the fight is finished. You can't bet on what round it's finished in, and like you can't bet the over under. So honestly, dude, I did everything right. I just put 20K. I think I was like plus 190. So I was like, almost a 2-to-1 dog. And I put 20K on myself to win, and that was it. And unfortunately, one of the judges saw it my way and two didn't. So that's the way it is.
And so like the rules have changed since what went down with Minner and Krause. Do you think the UFC should still allow fighters to bet on themselves as you did?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I'm a grown ass man. Like, some people, oh, that was the dumbest shit you ever could have done. All right, cool, bro. I don't tell you how to spend your money. Like, hey, it's what I wanted to do. It's, I believed in myself. I still believe in myself. But man, if me and Charles rematched again, like I would do it again, and I bet the line would even be more in my favor this time. I'd probably get a worse line. I'd probably be like plus 130 or something. But regardless to that is this wasn't about money, man. That 20,000 wouldn't make or break me. Even now, it was about telling everybody of how much I believed in myself, win or lose. And that's all it really was about, dude. It wasn't all about the money, man. It's about believing in yourself, and everyone says they believe in themselves. Well, fucking prove it. And I put it all out there.
Does it piss you off a little bit the way it went down with, Krause and Minner, and seeing as though they've tightened up on sort of the betting stuff around UFC fighters?
Not really. I mean, it is what it is. I mean, here's the thing. If a fighter wants to bet on themselves, they can still do it. Like there's so many ways around it. I mean, yeah, I can't go into a book and bet on myself. Yes, no, but I could give $100 to my friend to go, hey, go bet for me under your name. Like, I mean, I get it. The UFC is trying to crack down on that, so they're not fixing fights. It's like boxing, man. I feel boxing is very crooked. I feel there's a lot of fixed fights in boxing, and I think Dana is steering the fighters away from betting on themselves because we don't want the UFC. We don't want MMA to turn into boxing where it's all political and there's fixing fights and shit. So I think that's why they did it. But at the end of the day, if a fighter really wants to bet on themselves, they still can. They just can't do it publicly.
Do you think so? Let me ask you, what, as someone like you were talking about, you had to go through books for you to bet on yourself. How can you screw up in that situation? What do you think happened with Derek Minner and Jaynes Krause? I know you don't directly, have communication with them, but like, how do you think they screwed up that allowed for that situation to play out as it did?
Uh, you know, I don't know exactly what they did. I've heard that the fight was fixed, and I heard right before they agreed to fix it, there was a whole bunch of money, like you said, that big line swing. I don't know the particulars to if it was fixed or if it was not fixed. So that it's tough to say, man. I mean, if Jaynes Krause and Derek Minor, planned something and had an outside guy swing the line right before the fight, like, I mean, that's shady shit, man. That's fucked up. So, I mean, I unfortunately, it's hard for me to answer the question because I don't know the guys well enough and I don't know the situation well enough to say what was right or wrong.
In looking back on it, let's say you're in the UFC now, you would still find a way to bet on yourself again.
Oh no, I cannot say that would bet on myself because it's illegal to bet on yourself in the UFC.
Fair enough. Fair enough. And then, so are you still at Extreme Couture?
Absolutely. Yeah, I'm still there. I'm coaching there. I have a lot of great up and coming amateur guys. So, I've had an 18-month layoff of training and competing. So, I've picked up a lot of solid guys, solid amateurs that are coming up on the scene that I have really high hopes for in the future, man. And, I started these kids off when they were nothing. They didn't even have like a wrestling background. And they're starting to really come along. So I'm really looking forward to that. Extreme Couture Wrestling. I've been running the wrestling program now for a couple of years, and yeah, everything at the gym's flourishing right now, and I'm just getting back into training, so we're good to go, baby.
That's awesome. Justin, it's always a pleasure getting a chance to catch up with you. I know I wish, we could, whenever you have a fight, we'll talk again, and
Yes, sir.
wishing you all the best with your recovery. I hope getting back to training is going well. I hope you're able to pick up those knockouts and get
Make
back
sure
to
to
the UFC.
subscribe to
Thank
the
you so much
LowKick
for taking
MMA
time.
YouTube channel
Hey,
for all
thanks,
the
man. I
latest
appreciate you.
news,
Anytime,
event
just give me a
previews,
call.
and interviews
Of course.
with some of the biggest stars in MMA.